All right. Turning the key. Okay, so the first 2 times I turned the key, it didn't do anything. That's all I get right now. I get the click down there. Okay, so it started on that one. But was just going over what this means with the kids. And there are 2 things that you look at when that happens, when you turn all the way up. I did this with the truck, but now the car's doing it. So I'm just gonna roll through this again. We'll open the hood here. So when you turn the key two clicks up, the battery is engaged. And when you go that little bit extra that starts the car, all that little bit extra is doing is putting power to the starter. The starter is a motor that will shoot out the Bendix, I believe it's called, will shoot that out and spin, and what it does is it rotates against a flywheel or a flex plate that's in the engine, and it turns over the engine, gets it rotating. So that gets it rotating, it provides spark, but when you go to that momentary part to start the car, if it doesn't do anything, 2 key components, battery and starter. Those are the only 2 things when you go to that last click where you turn the key over and then you let it come back. That's what's engaging, is the starter. Just to get the motor started, obviously, turning over and everything else to work. So it could be the starter is going bad, or it could be that the battery is just not able to keep its charge anymore. So what we're going to do is just test out this battery right now, real quick. And the battery is right now is at 12.29. So what we're going to do is come back out and we'll check it again. Oh, see, okay, 12.29. So here's the thing with batteries. There's things called cold cranking amps. See this one right here? It has 660 amps, cold cranking amps. And there's this part, which is the 12 volts, 80 amp hours, which is the capacity of the battery. Cold cranking amps is the when you are going to start the car, that the amperage that is provided on that is considered the cold cranking amps. I haven't looked up cold cranking amps in years and years and years, but basically that's the amount of power that's available on initial draw. That's how we'll say it. And maybe I'll look that up and give you the actual specifics, but the higher the cold cranking amps, the better it is to start in the cold, or like bigger engines, you want higher cold cranking amps to be able to turn them over and provide that more power for the starter. So that's what the situation is here. Now we know it's over 12 volts, it's 12.29 volts, but as batteries age, the cold cranking amps get reduced as well. So it could be that we have enough voltage, but not enough amperage. So now it's 12.53, so the voltage has actually gone up as the battery sits, which is, kind of interesting. But we know that we have over 12 volts, so by that test alone, this battery is okay. Again though, as it ages, you have the cold cranking amps that come into play. Also, batteries usually have dates on them, so and I don't think I've replaced this battery at all. And this is a 2017, so this battery is probably 5 years old. Because I got an 18. Okay, so I don't see a date on the battery, but I'm thinking that's because I'm thinking the issue is actually the cold cranking amps. The alternator works once the car started, everything's good. So the only time that we have an issue is when we were initially turning it over for the starter to start. Just to prove that the alternator is working, with the car running, it sounds like a sewing machine. Anyway, with the car running, I'm going to put this on, and you'll see 14.57. So 13 plus, usually it's about 14. And the reason that there's more power, and again, I've shown this in another video, but just to have it here, the reason that there's 2 volts more is the alternator has more power than 12 volts, so that the battery gets charged as it's getting used. So that's why 13.5 to 14 plus means alternator is working. So just, that's the easy part, but I wanted to explain why it does that, why it's more voltage. It's not that the battery is actually a 14-volt battery, it's that the alternator is charging the circuit. So once you get the car started, if the alternator is working, that car will continue running. When you stop, if you can't crank it over again, usually that's a sign of the battery. Could also be the starter, but battery is the first thing to check. Starter is a whole different thing, but just wanted to check that, make sure we were good. We know alternator works, we know battery is good from a voltage standpoint. We don't know if it's good from a cold cranking amp standpoint, and we'll check that out a little bit later. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do this. So the thing won't turn over. Same night that we did the other stuff. And then we're gonna do this. And it's only 12.02, so it's definitely down a little bit, but definitely not kicking over the starter. So we're going to break out the battery cables here, hook it up to another car just to give us enough juice to start this thing, and then we should be good to go until I get a battery. Now you're recording. Okay. All right, so we're going to come over here, put these jumper cables on. Now we'll keep these separate. So keep those away from each other as you do it through recording. So we're going to do, no, keep it on, Mom. We're going to keep this car on so that it's charging off of the alternator. So I have these two on. Okay, I'll take these now. I'll not touch these together. Keep these separate. Okay, it's always important to keep these things, this has 12 volts, these two right here, so you don't touch them together. And I'm running out of hands, so I'm going to do that for now. And I'm going to put it on. This is positive, this is negative, right? Just triple checking myself. That's definitely negative. I know, but just double checking. So I'm going to put this on here. And that on there, and then we're going to do this just for giggles and see what we got. Why is it not? Should have seen some spark from it. So I'm going to check these. This is in the dark, so I apologize for the video, but I'm gonna go ahead and clamp that on like that. Clamp this one on here. Okay, so that's showing 14 for coming from the other car. All right, so let's just, there we go. Did you hear that car go down a little bit? Colt, did you hear that?
I saw a spark.
You saw the spark, which is good. That means you're going to see a little bit of that when you connect. So now what we're doing is we have, yeah, that's a better connection. See, before when I tested it, it was only at 12. I could tell something was wrong, so I had to wiggle it a little bit. There's a song about that. Anyway, now it's going 14. So just more juice going to the battery. I'm going to go in and try to start it. See if we can get it started. That makes me wonder. So this is going, I mean, it's not a dead battery, that's the weird thing. So it's, I'm wondering if the starter's just bad. All right, it's not even trying. All right, so let's not do that. Let's lay these separate there. Okay, 12.46. All right, just go ahead and turn it, Mom. What? Crank it. Okay, I hear the relay out there. That's right there. Try it again. It's going down to 11.72. That's not bad though. It's not dropping a ton.
I really think it's combination, probably starter. Probably the starter. Okay. But we have lights everywhere else. Yeah, I have a feeling it's a starter. But let me try engine start on this to make sure it's got enough amperage. So I'll put these here and turn this off. All right, I'm gonna go to engine start. That's 75 amps. All right, go ahead and try it. Again? No. You're turning the key all the way, right? Yeah. No, that's just what it's doing. It's in park, right? I guess that should have been... Yeah, the first thing we checked as I'm standing in front of the vehicle. Okay. So that's on engine start. So even if the battery was bad, this should kick over the starter. That's what I was afraid of. Because the starter's somewhere in there that I can't see. Alright. Well, let me do this. Battery's about 5 years old, so definitely need a battery, but I don't think that's the fix. I think it's 5 years old. Alright. So we're just going to let that crank. Charge up. I'm going to see if I can get underneath there and see something. I'm sure I can't. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this off. I know that this car, I've had this car for 5 years now, and I'm pretty sure this is the original battery. So I'm going to replace the battery because the starter is in here somewhere that I cannot possibly see, and I know this needs to be replaced anyway, so I'm just going to start with that. Pull it out. It's January 1st, of course, but the parts store is open. I called, so I'm going to go get some tools, take this battery out, take it up there, get a new one, and yeah, hopefully that does the trick, but not thinking it is. So this is fun. This doesn't have a lot of cable, and I can't move it to a point where it is out of the way. I can probably go this way with it, but this is in the way. So that's fun. And it's got these clips here, which I don't have anything for. Okay. Let's do this before that falls everywhere. This is annoying. Oh, I have gloves. They're not on. It's okay, it's only 30. Here we go. There's one. Okay. And this one. Give myself some room there. Okay, got that. So those are out. All right. And this should just pop. Okay, there we go. So that's not too bad. So that is air inlet. Okay. Now we should be able to do this. Ah, there we go. Okay. This negative cable grounds the car. It goes right down here. See what it does? It goes right to the body here. Gets bolted to that. And That connects to the engine via grounding straps, and all kinds of stuff. So ground is basically the frame of the car and everything there, and that should be the last thing you disconnect. So the ground can come all the way back to here. That's how that works. This is, let's take this off. Okay, that goes there, and then I have that hold down, and that should be, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to pretend I know. 14 maybe? It's that size. Which is 13. Okay. 10 and 13. This is where you need a bigger tool. Car is not at my house, so I just brought 1/4-inch drive set because it's easy. But that worked. See if I can get that out just with it being loose, because that'll be easier. Alright. Again. Put that in there. This doesn't go everywhere. Pick it up from the back. Angle it. Okay. Alright. Well, let's take it to the parts store. Get another one and see if there's a date on it. I don't see one. Sticker anywhere. 4. No, that doesn't help. Usually they're dated, I thought. 12 volts. Yeah, so it's a Hyundai. Definitely original. Alright. Let's go get another one. Let's put this thing in here. Alright. Now we'll peel these off. So yeah, the other battery was a Hyundai factory battery. Car's a 2017, so it's been in the car in a 2017 model. Probably came out at the end of 2016, so at least 6 years. It's now 2024 today, so I don't. Does that add a year, or I don't know. But let's just say battery's old. This one has a date on it, 9/23. All right, the other one did not, but I knew it was factory because it had Hyundai on it. When I took it up to the parts store, they're like, "That's a factory battery." And I said, "Yeah." So they asked me if I wanted to test it. I went, "No." I mean, it's 6 years old plus at this point in time. All right, so we got positive, negative. Positive is on this side. Negative is over here. So I'm gonna flip this thing around. This one's a 700 cold cranking amps. The other one was 660. So this is what we got for like $200. I remember when batteries were far cheaper. So I'm gonna lean this in so I can get under that front clip right there. Under that, and then goes in. All right, so while I'm looking at it and it's right here, pushing it back against that back one, and then tighten this up real quick so I don't forget. Make sure it's secure. Don't want the battery being a projectile. Also, don't want to move it around and shorten anything out, do anything stupid there. So definitely make sure the battery's tied down. And a pinch 1G cord it or something. Just make sure it's tied down in some way. Too many things can go wrong when this thing's moving around and tweaking cords. All right, so then this goes over like this, I believe. And then negative first. So negative is the ground, everything goes to it, so negative first. Off last, on first. That's what we're gonna do at least. So negative on. And just one last check. Don't want to do this backwards. Positive, positive, positive. All right. Pick that up over and down. Okay. millimeter. Oh, don't really need that extension, do I? Okay. Oh, you know what? I messed up. Because I have this. I brought this for a reason. You're wondering, what is that tool? Battery terminal cleaner. All kinds of sizes. Original battery. We're just going to clean out. Clean contact is very important. Brand new battery. Not going to worry about that. Should put dielectric grease in there. But you know what? I don't have it. So, I'm not going to. Wasn't on there before either. But, you know, everything's fancy. And if you have access to something that's better, good to use it. I do not. So, I am not. Alright. Okay. And then we'll put this back on. Okay. And tighten that up. Not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. Close the cap. Oh, and then we have this thing. Put these in here to hold it. And I can reach them now, so I'll just squeeze the back close. Nope. I lied. Gotta pick them up. So this is how these work. As you push it in, that clips out. So you have to pick these up to allow this to close in. It's like a molly screw, but they're plastic clips for cars. So you have to separate. So again, you have to separate between here and here for it to come out. Not something I thought I'd show on a battery video. Anyway, so this goes in here. And comes back out a little bit. Interesting. Okay. Loose. Thought it like attached in there. That is not the case. I'm going to pull this out. So this goes in like this. Squeeze that in there. Okay. So now when I push this down, that opens those up. It secures it. So pushing down opens this up. Now this one's broken already. Somebody else had this off before. Not for the battery, because it was brand old. It was original. Alright. So car is it's 2017, so it's 6 years old now. Alright, it's got like 100,000 miles on it. The battery needed to be replaced anyway. Let's find out if that actually fixed the problem we were trying to fix, though. Well, same issue. Well, like I said, battery is 6 years old anyway, so it needed to be changed. They're usually 3 to 5 years, so definitely good there. Now, if it was like a year old, I wouldn't be doing that, but I figured might as well just replace that, because that's the easy thing to do. And I'm not paying a mechanic to do it, I'm just doing it. So, that sucks, because I am right. Sometimes it sucks to be right. It wasn't the battery, it's the starter, most likely. Okay. Well, let me see if I can get under there to see anything. Can't see anything here, so I have to take this off. Tabs, and then it's got bolts.
All right. Let's break it. Oh, that's stupid. All right. So this sucks. There should be. Bolt here. Thinking bolt. Too big. Let's go to 10. I'm thinking there's a bolt there. Probably should get my head under there. Light. Okay. So there is, and then there's these. And there's, oh, I took that one out already. And there's these. Because you need 3 different ways to secure something. Because why? Okay. So first one of those is out. And this one here. So my theory is I get the bolts out. Just try to get enough space up in here to see what's going on. Either way, this has to come off so I know where to even jack up the car. Don't have my jack. Another one. Or anything like that. So, yeah. One here, too. Doing a lot of this by feel, not sight. Well, that one broke. There you go. Broke right off. Perfect. What that gives me. Get this one here. Can't really get my head in there, so I'm just. Yep. Figured that was going to happen. Yes, this is why these shields never go back on when somebody takes them off of a car.
All right, so I have this thing separated from here. This screw goes in this part right here from underneath, because you know you need screws and pop rivets and, well, not pop rivets, plastic lids. So now this will come out. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fish fasteners. A pain in the butt. All right. Hopefully we can see something. Oh, and this would go here with the bolt. I'm glad that bolt came out. We'll leave that there for now. I'm gonna try to get up in here to see what we can see. If we can see anything after spending 30 minutes disconnecting a stupid cover. Ooh, starter. Right there. Heat shield. It's got to be the starter. Yeah, heat shield. Connectors. Well, that's gonna be fun. Heat shield here, heat shield there. Can I get to the other bolts in there? Holy crap. Is there one bolt for the heat shield? That would be nice, but I doubt it. Oh, two. One here, one here. Hopefully those are the only two. Because I don't even know how to get anywhere else. And the reason I know this is the starter, here's the engine block, transmission. Starter's going to come in here and turn over the engine by using the flywheel on the end of the transmission, which has teeth on it. So it's got to be it right there. And there's going to be electrical. Wow. This is the condenser motor, air conditioner on the bottom, which makes that fun to get to. Okay, well, the question is, okay, there's a bolt here. Does the heat shield come off with the starter? There's a line there. No, it can't be, because you got to take this off to disconnect it. And then I have bearings. It's on that side. See if you can get to. I'll have to crawl in there and see if I can get to the wiring. Oh, so here's the issue. I would love somebody else to do this. And they might still do it. However, to take it somewhere means a tow, which means more money to fix it. Just to get it there, because the car doesn't start. But what I might be able to do is get the heat shield off. I just want to tap the starter because that works sometimes. That heat shield's in the darn way. You could hit the starter and it kind of knocks some stuff loose in there. It actually gets the stuff firing a little bit better inside. It's like a trick that you can do to help it, to limp it along. It's definitely not long term. But if I can get this thing to start, I can just drive it directly to shop, because I don't have all the, I should be able to do it, but I'm not small. I can't fit in these places. I could then, because they're probably going to take apart all this stuff on a lift to get to it. But this is what it is. So you have your manifold right here, right next to the starter. And I don't know if I can get in there from the other side without taking stuff apart. That is crazy. I mean, it's typical, but it's still crazy. So I do see bolt here. That's for that part of the starter, and then there's probably, how do you even get to the other? other part of it. Where's the other bolt at? Yeah, this does not look. Okay. Well, let me think about this for a second. All right. Okay. So have this back in here just to kind of hold this in case this thing starts. Oh. All right, turn it all the way off. Okay, go all the way forward. Yeah, I don't really hear that solenoid. Okay. So, update. After finding out that I was bleeding everywhere, I put the heat shield and the, what else was there? This thing's got a nice exhaust ping too. Anyway, put the heat shield in the back of the car, put the fasteners that I had in a baggie with the heat shield. I had that one, put that one bolt in because that's all you could do for that one piece. It's only got 2 bolts that hold it in, which is crazy to me. And then it's got 7 other bolts or 8 other bolts or fasteners that hold the heat shield in. Anyway, put that stuff in the back of that car, left the key where the car is, and I'm gonna have to get it towed because I looked underneath there and there is no way I can get these hands in those areas. So what that means most likely is someone needs to put it on a lift. Driving a rear-wheel drive dually in the winter, not good. Anyway, we'll have to put it on a lift and probably take some pieces and parts off of there that I'm not willing to get into to be able to get up and at the starter, because there's no real access. You know, on a V8 there's much better access. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. You know, calling it a day. I was out in the 30-degree weather on cardboard, and not on cardboard. It was nice and wet too. Trying to figure out what I can get to and do, and reality is if I could have gotten to the starter, if I felt like I could get to it, I would have probably tried, you know, to gain access, but I couldn't even feel around where the wires were. So it's not worth it. I'm blessed to have the ability to have somebody that knows what they're doing, more what they're doing, do this. So the biggest thing that bums me out is I should have, when it started acting up, I should have just taken it to a shop. I should have just taken it in and said, and this thing's not right, can you go through it and see what's up? Because now I've cost myself what I've saved myself in trying to troubleshoot, like throw a battery in and that kind of stuff. The labor that I saved myself, I'm sure the tow is going to be way more than that. And if I would have just taken it in when it started acting up, let me know if you've ever heard that, I would be better off. So hindsight being 2020, if your starter is not playing nice and you're not able to get to everything, like on this truck I knew I was able to get it to everything, but if it's not something you want to work on or whatever, or you know how, as soon as something starts acting up, don't wait. Don't be an idiot like me, because I waited and now it's going to cost me a tow, because when the car was starting, it would only act up every once in a while. I would, you know, I drove it for probably 3 or 4 days after that, after it was not really doing what it should starting wise. Again, here's why though. I thought it was the battery. So I was confident that it was the battery and I could just jump it and be fine and just swap the battery. Well, swapped the battery today, wasn't that, so I was wrong. And I'm gonna pay the price for not being wrong, because it's okay to be wrong. I'm gonna pay the price for procrastinating and not addressing it earlier. So don't be like me. If you have, if it's acting up, if your car's acting up and you know it's not right, do something weird.
go get it looked at, or look at it yourself if you can, or take it somewhere and have them look at it before things get worse.